Hello, everybody. Hello, thank you for being here on a Friday afternoon. It's Friday, May 8th, and I am in here sharing another aha moment with you today, an epiphany that actually came out of a meeting this morning that I had. So I haven't really fleshed this out, but I do believe it's relevant and definitely timely with respect to where everyone's at. What do I want to say before I get into this? It feels like a long day. It feels like it should be 5 or 6 o'clock on a Friday, but and maybe for some of you it is right now. But I want to share this actually too. I just want to thank you because I know many of you have been reaching out over the last several days to let me know that these aha moments are starting to land with you, that my blog posts from the past, the content that I've been putting out for a number of years now, you're starting to open yourself up to some of that content and starting to see how the dots line up, how the lines are all starting to connect. And that is really the reason why I do what I do. So thank you for sharing with me that it's starting to make sense for you where you're at. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Taunya. I'm a financial strategist who's been working with entrepreneurs for the last 20 years on building financial strategy, financially models that profit at the end of the day. And for the last 5 years, I have been immersed in the understanding and the study of behavioral finance and neuroeconomics, which is really just getting a better understanding of how our brain works when it comes to the decisions that it's making as it pertains to our relationship with money. So that's who I am. That's what I do when it comes to my career. And what I want to share with you today, I'm actually going to do a share screen. And again, I haven't fleshed this out, so you're going to have to be patient with me as I walk through this thought with you. But it really does have to do with better understanding the language that we use in the specific categories that we find ourselves in or that we're looking to head into. So just again, this is how my brain works here, is this column here, this is where we want to be. And specifically, this is typically where we want to be financially. The clients that I work with, typically when they come in, what people are most looking for is financial safety, financial security, financial comfort. When those are achieved, then they move into different spaces like bliss and happiness and joy. But for the most part, I would say that at least 90% of the people that I work with are typically in this space, looking for the safety, the security, and this is going to be keyword comfort. Now, where most people find themselves is, again, this is my experience, my interpretation, my observations of the people that I work with, but there have been thousands over the last 20 years, is that we stay in a place that we are familiar with. And I want you to be very aware of the language that I am intentionally using here, because a lot of people will use the word comfort. And in my experience, people's financial situations are anything but comfortable. In life, I see debt for people. I see overwhelmedness or pressure, even if there is no debt. It's about when is the next paycheck coming, or when is the next contract coming, or when will my nest egg be secure, right? And the pressure that we attach to those things not being fulfilled or not being met. There's uncertainty for many people. There's limited savings accounts for many people, limited investments that aren't happening, not knowing where the money is going to come from. So definitely different things that play out in our personal life. And then in business, I see where a lot of people are sitting is in this place where their business is not profiting. There's no retained earnings set aside. They're potentially tapped out with their lines of credit. You're gonna have to, dismiss my messy writing here. Not paying themselves a fair market salary, right? Walking a thin line, a tight line, always breaking even, always, robbing Peter to pay Paul, this perpetual catch-up mode. So this is where I have seen, in my experience, again, the last 20 years, this is where I see a lot of business owners sitting. Now, what I always find interesting is, and this is what came up in the conversation today, is it's interesting. What we most crave is the safety, security, and comfort. And we continue to make decisions that actually compromise those things: safety, security, and comfort, right? We always wait until our back is in the corner to take steps to move forward and to work through those things so that we can make sure these things are achieved. And so it always seems like we are in this cycle of, we might be in this place of things being familiar, and we might start to get ourselves out of debt, and we slowly start to feel like we're more secure and we're more safe, and the overwhelm goes down and uncertainty starts to clear up, and we start to build an investment and a nest egg, and our savings starts to accumulate. And then, because that is unfamiliar to our subconscious, because it is not comfortable with, what is all of this? Safety and security, I don't understand what that feels like. It puts us back into making decisions that compromise this. So then our credit cards get tapped out again. This is why consolidated debt oftentimes doesn't work, because it doesn't solve the real problem. The real problem was, why did we choose to use the credit cards and get into debt in the first place? So this is where we tend to get stuck. We tend to find ourselves in this circle. And sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to get up here. I can't figure that out right now, so I'm going to leave it. This is where we need to be. So this column is really about where we need to go. So if you want safety and security, the irony is that you actually need to start becoming uncomfortable. You need to get out of familiar territory, and you need to push yourself into areas that feel uncomfortable. So for you to achieve comfort, you need to be uncomfortable. You need to do things that get you out of your comfort zone. Selling yourself, building new business models, reinventing the business models. For me, one of my comfort zones is me doing it on my own. Isolation. Let me just power through and get it all done. My discomfort is actually in building teams, in people, me being accountable to others, right? That whole sense that's where I know I need to grow right now. Delegation, for a lot of women, this is a space that can be uncomfortable. In your personal life, maybe it's organizing the bills, maybe it's paying cash for things, maybe it is sticking to an allowance, right? Maybe it's not using credit cards, maybe it's automating savings. So my message here in this aha moment, I want you to be very aware of the language that you are using, because my guess right now, not right now actually, because right now you are not in familiar territory. Right now you are in uncomfortable territory for most of you. And we're so desperate to get back to normal. We're so desperate to get back to the comfort that we had. But the opportunity in the growth is now in being uncomfortable and really starting to do these things. Because when we do these things and we form habits out of them, and we continue to reach for new levels of discomfort, that we get out of this rut. We get out of this rut and we start to form new cycles that continuously elevate us to new, healthier, more prosperous levels and steps, right? We start graduating out. Life is just always meant to be lived. There's always going to be a cycle. There's always going to be ebb and flow. Let me stop the share. If you're waiting for the spoiler alert, we never arrive, we never get it all figured out, and we will always, always be making mistakes and always learning. So the gift in this is about constantly reaching new heights and learning new things. Okay, so there's my aha moment for you. I hope this was under 10. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thank you for watching. I'd love to know if this lands with you. Bye for now, everybody.